to Manna of Joy. Today we are going to see the story about the Lazarus is raised from his death. Long time ago, there was a friend of Jesus named Lazarus was ill. He was from Bethany, where he lived with his sisters Mary and Martha. So the two sisters sent a messenger to Jesus, who was staying on the other side of the river Jordan. Lord, Lazarus is very ill, the messenger told Jesus. On hearing this news, Jesus said, "The illness will not end in death. It is for God's glory, so that God's Son may be glorified through it." Now, although Jesus loved Lazarus, Mary, and Martha, he did not go immediately to see them. He stayed where he was for another 2 days. Then he announced, "Let's go to Judea." "But teacher," they protest, "a short while ago the Jews they tried to stone you, and yet you want to go back there?" "Our friend Lazarus has fallen asleep, but I'm going there to wake him up," Jesus announced. His disciples replied, "Lord, if he sleeps, he will get better." Jesus had been speaking of the death of Lazarus, but his disciples thought he meant natural sleep. So Jesus told them plainly, "Lazarus is dead. I'm glad I was not there for your sake, so that you might believe. Let's go to him." Then Thomas said to the rest of the disciples, "Let's go with Jesus, that we may die with him." So they set off on the trip of Bethany, where Lazarus lived. It took 2 days to get to the Bethany where the mourners have gathered. Lazarus had already been in the town for 4 days when Jesus and his disciples arrived at the outskirts of the Bethany. The mourners have arrived from all around. When Martha heard that Jesus was coming, she went out to meet him, but Mary stayed at home. Lord, Martha explained, "If you had been here, my brother would have not died. But I know that even now God will give you better, whatever you ask." Jesus said to her, "Your brother will rise again." Martha answered, "I know he will rise again in the resurrection at the last day." Jesus said to her, "I am the resurrection and the life. The one who believes in me will live even though they die, and whoever lives by believing in me will never die. Do you believe this?" "Yes, Lord," she replied, "I believe that you are the Messiah, the Son of God, who is to come into the world." She then returned to fetch her sister Mary, saying, "The teacher is here, and he is asking for you." When Mary heard this, she got up quickly and went to Jesus. Now Jesus had not yet entered the village, but was still at the place where Martha had met him. When the mourners noticed how quickly she got up and went out, they followed her, supposing she was going to visit the tomb. When Mary reached Jesus, she fell at his feet and said, "Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died." When Jesus saw her weeping, and the Jews and who came along with her also weeping, he was deeply moved in spirit and troubled. "Where have you laid him?" he asked. "Come and see." "Lord," she replied. Jesus wept. Then the Jews saw, "See how he loved him." But some of them said, "Could not he open the eyes of the blind man have kept this man from dying?" Jesus, still deeply moved, came to the tomb. It was a cave with a stone laid across the entrance. "Take away this stone," he said. "But Lord," Martha protests, "Lazarus has been in the tomb for 4 days, and there will be a bad odor." Jesus replied, "Did I not tell you that if you believe, you will see the glory of God?" So they took away the stone. Then Jesus looked up and prayed for, "Father, I thank you, you have heard and say this for the benefit of the people here, so they mourn, believe that you sent him." Then Jesus called in the loud voice, "Lazarus, come out." The dead man came out, his hands and feet wrapped with strips of linen, and a cloth around his face. And Jesus said to them, "Take off the grave clothes and let Lazarus go." The many people who have come to visit Mary and Martha saw what Jesus did, and they believed in him. News that Jesus had raised Lazarus from the dead spread quickly. Everyone was talking about this amazing miracle. News spread from Bethany to nearby Jerusalem. The Pharisees and the temple leaders soon got to hear what had happened. "What are we accomplishing?" they asked. "Jesus is performing many miracles. If we let him go on like this, everyone will believe him. If that happens, the Romans will come and take away both our temple and our nation." A meeting of the top Jewish religious leaders, the Sanhedrin, was called to discuss the situation. Caiaphas, the high priest, made an announcement. "Don't you realize that it is better that the one man should die for the people than that if the whole nation perish?" As high priest that year, he prophesied that Jesus would die for the Jewish nation and the scattered children of God, to bring them together and make them one. So from that day, they plotted to take his life. As a result, Jesus and his disciples no longer moved around in Judea, but withdrawn to a region near the wilderness. They stayed in a village called Ephraim. As the Passover approached, the Jewish leader kept looking for Jesus. They searched the crowds arriving early for ceremonial cleansing. "What do you think?" they asked. "Maybe Jesus is not coming to the Passover." The chief priests and the Pharisees gave orders that anyone finding out where Jesus was should report it at once, so they would arrest him. As the feast of Passover approached, Jesus led his disciples away from Ephraim. 6 days before the Passover, they arrived in Bethany near Jerusalem at the house of Lazarus, Mary, and Martha. A dinner was given in the Jewish honor. Among those eating at the meal was Lazarus, whom Jesus had arrived from the dead. Please subscribe my channel and also press the bell icon so that when I upload my videos, you'll get a notification.